People, welcome to another newspaper breakdown. It has been a day, innit? Oh, well, Jesus. The Eye today, the Saudi Russian-owned piece of shit, but only 70p. So, um, Liz Truss may not be prime minister by the time you watch this, but there has been. I mean, it's another day in the soap opera that is us all being pushed into poverty. Uh, for them, this four Tory MPs, the ones in power, all of their discussion is, oh gosh, terrible, it's awful. Oh gosh, it's not good. It's not. Look at us. We're a laughing stock. Everything's about their party. Like yesterday, Suella Braverman resigned, was pushed out. She was the Home Secretary. She resigned after CCing in someone that she wasn't supposed to with confidential papers. Now, of course, you got people like Farage and other mad bastard right-wing piles of human fucking waste going, oh, well, this is just attempting to get in more anti-Brexit people, blah 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 blah. Fucking tedious people should never be listened to. In her resignation letter, she said she made a mistake, she accepts responsibility, she resigns. Now that is, of course, utter horseshit. When she was Attorney General, which, if we all remember, was like fucking last week, or however, time has no meaning, it feels like, anymore. I don't think for any of us, time is just. When you're always told normally by pompous twats, you go, time is just a construct. That's how it currently feels like this entire year. The idea of putting things into time is nigh on impossible at this point. But when she was Attorney General, she kept on going after lawyers. She went after lawyers as the Attorney General. She ignored the law as Attorney General. She didn't take any responsibility for any of that, for any of the continual hate that she pushed out when she was Home Secretary. And she looked back and wanted to be an absolute cunt of a person. She didn't apologise for any of that. She didn't resign for the responsibility that she takes. Didn't take any. But here, she got a little dig. She wanted to get a dig at Liz Truss because Liz Truss got rid of her. That's how she was able to do it. And it's all of them. Anytime they claim integrity, anytime they claim responsibility, have a look at their history. Have a look at what they've done, and you'll always find hypocrites. Every single fucking time, hypocrites. She goes on to claim that the party was moving away from the manifesto, which is true. That bit's true. And now she wants to give a resignation speech in the Commons, which is a usual thing to do, especially if you're high up in the cabinet. You do a resignation speech. Javid did one towards the end of Boris's time. They want to bring Boris back. This is a lot of the chatter. Bring Boris back. But at the moment, Boris is on holiday, as he has been for seemingly a year. And he's doing speeches for tons of money in the US. He's not doing his job. And I said, we need to find a way to sack MPs, especially if they're not doing their job. Boris Johnson is not doing his job as an MP. First and foremost, as an MP, you are there to work. Well, you should be. That's why you get rid of second jobs as well, but that's a whole different thing. But she wants to do the speech in the Commons so she can be filmed kicking Truss when she's down at this point. And if she manages it, and if Liz Truss manages to stay PM for the next couple of minutes, then she can cut the throat, as it were. Because just before I started this, Graham Brady, who is the chair of the 1922 committee, which is the MPs committee, and they're called 1922 because that's where all their views are stuck at. But he's gone in to have a chat with Liz Truss that wasn't booked, but supposedly has been asked for Liz Truss. So either she's going to fall on her sword, or someone else is getting sacked. Suella Braverman has been replaced by Grant Shapps. He's a lot like Hunt in the idea that everyone will say, well, finally, a grown up. Where in fact, they're corrupt pieces of human shit. That everything they touch has turned to fucking puke. Grant Shapps, quick use on him, used a pseudonym to run an online marketing get rich quick scheme. It was called Michael Green. Also, as Transport Secretary, get on a train and see how well he did. You can argue that's everything back from Grayling going forward, though, really. Yesterday, there was a vote on fracking, which was... It started as just a vote on whether we're going to make fracking legal again, which we shouldn't do. And then the whip said actually this is going to be a vote on a vote of confidence on the government as well, which, as I said yesterday, they put in a 3-line whip. And then before the vote, they said, oh no, we take away the 3-line whip. It's not actually a vote of confidence. And then you had MPs and whips manhandling, forcing people to go in and vote. That's how bad this party is at the moment, that they are having to drag people in to vote for the government. This is where it is. You had the chief and deputy chief whip resign off the back of it all, saying they've had enough, and then they didn't resign, creating another U-turn, which is this. I mean, the Tories are just a U-turning thing, and this was the same with Boris Johnson. I can't even remember as far back as Theresa May, which, as nostalgia does to us, Theresa May at this point feels like some fucking halcyon days of good competence, when, if we actually look back, it wasn't at all, because that was when all the mad bollocks of Brexit, not the... With Brexit at the moment, like, with Theresa May, it was... so David Cameron was a diagnosis. Theresa May was the attempt at... not a cure, what's the other fucking word? Say a remedy, something like that. And that didn't work, and now we just have to live with the illness as it's ripping out our souls. The vote on fracking, the government did win, so good times. Although Liz Truss missed it because everything else was happening, so she missed her own vote of confidence, which is just exactly what you expect to happen at this point. You expect Liz Truss to miss her own vote of confidence. And if you listen to Tories, if you listen to them, what they're saying is, you listen to the speeches and when they're talking to journalists and everything, you will notice at no point are they saying this is awful for the country. They're not saying that. What they're saying is this is bad for the party, because that's what they care about. They care about the party, not the people. They want to keep their seats. 80 grand a year is good. Good money to be on. Good money. And as you can see from Boris Johnson, you don't actually have to do much. What else have we got? Yep, that's fracking 1. There's a lot of talk, not a lot of talk, but I see it on from what people are saying, that they want to bring back Boris. As I said, he's on holiday at the moment. Senior Tories believe that MPs should pick the next leader when Truss goes, when everything, because they believe that if they pick, then they'll have an adult in charge. The issue, of course, being that there isn't an adult in the Tory party. All you've got is people heading more and more to the right wing. You've got the House of Commons won a vote yesterday to seek to compel the government to publish the OBR's forecast on the mini budget in full, which will show probably it will show that the OBR thought that the mini budget was a fucking psychotic idea that would only cause pain, as it did. And you also got it's not a piece of news. It's just something that I've noticed with all of this that's going on. The government has stopped. Nothing works when you've got chaos like this, and we haven't had a functioning government really since Partygate. The actual able day-to-day running of government. All of their corruption, all of their continual headline news shittery stops a government from working, because all they end up doing is fighting fires, so they can't actually do anything. And that's nothing against journalists at that point. Journalists are doing the right thing, putting out all of this news. It's what happens when you have children trying to fucking run a shop. Nothing works. News that isn't about this country. Where is it? Something, yeah, here it is. Western allies would consider a no-fly zone in the event of a nuclear strike. So if Russia were to drop a nuke on Ukraine, the West would consider a no-fly zone, which doesn't really seem enough. I mean, anywhere near. Like, you drop a nuke, oh, no more flying over Ukraine for you. It's weak. I reckon if Russia drops a nuke, we should probably just end the world. You say, listen, if you're going to drop a nuke, we're going to nuke you. Everyone's going to nuke each other. Let's just, all together or not at all, let's call a bluff and end the world. Martial law is introduced in Ukrainian occupied regions, which, I mean, there's a lot of talk about what that could potentially mean, setting up false flag operations. It goes to show that Russia's invasion of Ukraine isn't wanted by Ukraine, because rarely when you invade a place where you're claiming, oh, they want us here, you don't put in martial law at that point, do you? The final bit is just an opinion, because you see a lot of what I call talking heads. Opinion is, it's one of the problems you have with papers and news. You get a lot of talking heads in there now and not actual news. This is talking heads. This is all this is. Where you don't actually get the news, you get people's opinions, which is, as I say, what this is. But I'm a political comedian, so that's my excuse. The right-wing talking heads, you got the likes of Lord Truss and everything, who was at one time the Brexit secretary, who helped with the negotiation, screwed everything up and said how bad it was, even though he was the one who helped do it. He's gone. Just an example, he's gone from July saying how Liz Truss is the best to back in Kwasi Kwarteng saying how the budget was fantastic, back in Liz Truss in like last month saying how everything was fantastic and she's the only one that can help, to now saying yesterday that she has to go. These talking heads should not be listened to. They've got no fucking soul. They've got no capability of looking at themselves and thinking, maybe I'm the problem. Ignore them, every single one of them. They do not deserve oxygen. I hope your day goes well, and hopefully Liz Truss goes and we get a general election. So, bye.